you're already a like-minded individual, but we do need some help from you.
Yeah.
This has been probably one of the largest, I think it is the world's largest convoy. At one point we were 7,000 vehicles long and stretched over 30 miles.
Wow.
We started in Adelanto, California, and now we're sitting at the Hagerstown Speedway in Hagerstown, Maryland, just about 45 minutes or so, depending on traffic, of course, to the Speedway. And every day we've been looping your beltway since yesterday was day 7. I don't know if you're a religious man, but the significance of the seven days around the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Joshua.
Yeah. But we're here and we have a mission, and we don't plan on leaving the backyard here until we accomplish that. What we're looking for is obviously an immediate end to the state of emergency. We don't believe there's an emergency that needs to end, and then we want an immediate end to the vaccine, mandated vaccines to our healthcare workers and our military personnel, and really anybody that's mandated by the federal government.
I saw where some of the special forces guys and the SEALs, their lawsuits in the news today. I think it was a good decision thus far. No, look, I what they've done to our First Amendment liberties over the last year is just.
You talk about First Amendment liberties, but right now they've literally just stopped our convoy out on the road right now, directed them down a no truck path. DC Metro Police, the leadership of the department, decided that they were going to block every exit and every roadway around DC.
Intentionally.
I have pictures of it for you.
Really?
We communicated to plan the routes every single day. And yesterday they escalated by blocking the exits, and today they escalated by blocking the road.
We work.
Most of you been doing.
We are
just go around in circles. We don't stop. They haven't been stopping at all. They're completely blocking it now. This is
so right here is the 695 to 395 downtown. They literally brought in dump trucks, turned them sideways, and have law enforcement there blocking. So even the residents can't take that way. They're blocking it right now. Here's where they stopped us. Right here, 201 and 50.
Wow.
They literally stopped the entire convoy right there. And you can see the no trucks, the camera, there, no trucks. They're forcing commercial vehicles down a no truck route.
Really?
They're stopping us from exercising our First Amendment rights. We've done everything by the book. We work with law enforcement every single day. Every single day they know our route.
Where is that? Is that in
that part is in Maryland, on the Maryland side.
Yeah.
But it's DC Metro Police that are doing this, that are orchestrating this. We work with a DC Metro special agent.
What do they say?
They claim that there is threats of tearing down the White House fencing and hanging politicians on the internet and social media that are attached to us. And they're claiming that on the windows of vehicles in the convoy, that they have this on the windows of the convoy.
Which is baloney, because we know every window on the convoy.
Total lie.
Total lie.
Total lie.
Garbage.
Total lie. I've been nothing but as leadership in the convoy. I've every single day have worked with a special agent with the DC Metro and a special agent with the Virginia State Police, and I'm also working closely with the Maryland State Police to make sure that they know exactly what our route is going to be.
What's that relationship been like when you talk?
It's been extremely positive up until yesterday and today, and now today. I mean, the gentleman I'm working with is still extremely positive. There's no, it's DC Metro's leadership. It's the officers. I mean, we're getting high fives and thumbs up from all of the officers. The men and women behind the badge are behind us. It's clear as day that they're behind us. It's their leadership down here in DC that's orchestrating this. I mean, they're diverting taxpayer dollars right now to put dump trucks on the interstate and even stop the residents of DC from entering the city at this point because they're worried about a convoy.
So they make it tough on citizens, and of course, then they can, I guess, when they get upset, they can blame you, blame truck.
Right, but that's the thing is, yesterday it was so dangerous. What they did yesterday was, and we weren't even taking any exits. They know our route. They know exactly what we're going to do because we tell them every day what we're going to do. And from Adelanto, California to here, we've never deviated off of what we said we were going to
For
do.
7 days you told them, here's what we're going to do, and all 7 days you did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now today they tell you,
Yesterday,
you can't do what you agreed to when you told the
we changed the route yesterday.
leadership of law enforcement
Yeah.
in the respective jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in full transparency here, we did change the route yesterday, but they knew the new route before. They knew it the night
Communicated,
before.
right.
It was
Yeah.
communicated exactly what we were going to do. It's all commercially safe. It doesn't bring us into DC proper. It was 100% law-abiding and legal. And by the way, we're doing the speed limit. It's not that we're not slowing everything down. The minimum speed limit is 55 miles per hour. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So at this point, what it appears to be is that the DC Metropolitan PD senior officials within the police department right now, whoever's making that call, is obstructing First Amendment right protests in which that we don't even need a permit for to conduct because we are driving the speed limit, we are law-abiding and peaceful, and we're not stopping.
Right.
So they are obstructing our First Amendment rights. It's a clear violation of our First Amendment rights. And then on top of it, yesterday when they decided to close these exits down, which had nothing to do with the convoy, there was never an intention to go off any of these exits whatsoever. They closed these. Well, it caused the cars, the regular motoring, to slam on brakes because they couldn't take their exit. And then they started turning around in the medians of the highway with oncoming traffic. You know how fast the traffic is on that beltway.
Sure.
You know, people are doing 75, like 80 mile an hour coming, you know, and you have people coming. Now, at that point, if somebody would have pulled out and got wiped out by another truck or a car and it killed a family, they would have blamed the convoy. But truth be told, it's DC Metro's fault. It's their fault. They put a lot of lives at risk yesterday, and they continue to do the same thing today. And we've been working with them.
But, and Representative Jordan, look, I'm not in the leadership, I'm on the scientific side supporting the convoy. But I can tell you in some of the meetings with the Virginia, DC, Maryland police, it's been exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship with the police has been very cordial, very respectful, professional, and they actually know exactly what the convoy does day by day. So something went wrong yesterday and today. Exactly what Brian said.
And we really don't know because we've done the same thing. Like I said, we changed the route a little bit, but they knew the night before that we were taking a different route than what we normally take. And we've never deviated off of our plan. Not one time have we ever deviated off of our plan. From Adelanto, California to here, of the convoys from Washington State, the ones from Maine, the ones from Florida, the ones from Texas. We have convoys coming in from every direction, and there's more coming yet to plus us up right now. We're a very massive movement, and we're not going anywhere.
God bless you.
We're here for the long haul.
Yeah, what they've done to our First Amendment liberties, your right to assemble, your right to petition.
I don't even mean
in some places where
I don't even mean the meeting to be about that, but that's the topic of the day because of what happened. I'll let Chris maybe get it back on track here, or let her do her thing. But
right. I mean, Jim, the emergency powers that were supposed to be used for terrorist attacks and hurricanes and floods and earthquakes, I mean, have never been coordinated and used across the country, if not across the world, right? Weaponized against, the people of different countries, now ours here, to just make the Constitution irrelevant. And it has become an addictive power, has it not? Because everybody I know, from all walks of life, feel like they're living in a third world country here in the States. When the courts are all clogged up and they can't do anything, they throw their hands up in the air and say, well, the emergency powers were validly granted. And that's a problem because they're being abused all over the place. So we don't have a constitutional republic as long as emergency powers are in place. And we need to get to accountability, but we're never going to get there until we stop the state of emergency.
Yeah.
And we know that you're a supporter of that. We know that you're on our team here, and that we don't have to sell you on this. But what we do need help in right now is trying to get your colleagues across the aisle to start coming to the table to talk, to break that mold. As you put the other day in the meeting,
things are
break that
changing
mold.
simply because of the politics of it. I mean, it's no accident that the day before the president's going to give his State of the Union address, they got rid of the mask mandate for the Capitol. It's no accident they're now announcing, we're going to begin to open up the Capitol in stages, and it'll be fully open come Labor Day, right with the traditional kickoff to the election season, Labor Day. We're going to open it up. So they see the politics of it, and that so many Americans are done with it.
Yes.
Just completely done with it. And plus, we know, I said this last night in the speech last night back home, everything they told us turned out not to be accurate, right?
False.
Biden said he had a plan. He obviously didn't. Biden said he would never impose a mandate. Well, he certainly did. That's why we have the convoy, and the Supreme Court had to strike down the one on employers and employees for businesses over 100. They said it didn't come from a lab, it wasn't gain of function, and our tax dollars weren't used to finance it. All three of those look like they're false. They said the vaccinated couldn't get it, the vaccinated couldn't transmit it. They said there's no such thing as natural immunity, and they told us masks work.
Right.
So that's 9 different things they told us that turned out not to be accurate. So yeah, the country's figured it all out, and I think they appreciate the fact that you're standing up and saying the First Amendment matters.
I mean, the trucker has become the scientist for America now in the world. And there's no science across the world, and these ladies can attest it, that supports any of the mandates or the underlying emergency declarations. There is no data or science. COVID is done, and the American people understand this. Omicron was our off-ramp. Governments need to be bold and grab Omicron and take this exit strategy.
Yeah.
Sadly enough, it takes the trucker to now stand up as a scientist for the country. And I would like these are our
Angie's first. So, I'm an RN. I've been an RN for I've been in healthcare for nearly 30 years. I've been an RN since 2003. Most of my work's been done in Logan County.
Yeah.
When Biden became president, I decided, okay, I didn't want to pay their taxes. So I'm going to be a travel nurse. I'm getting out of Dodge. My tax home is still in Logan County. It's still in Bell Center. I got me an RV. We headed to Florida, to a free state.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm trying to just adjust my life, just adjust my life so that I can survive. And so I get down there and I'm working happy-go-lucky. DeSantis is passing because he's passing all these wonderful bills that say that my antibodies count, because in October 2020 I had COVID. My husband had COVID. I got an antibody test in September 2021. And I had an antibody test just January 2022, and I had multiple COVID patients. Ooh, no reinfection.
Right.
But then they passed CMS rules, and then I was kind of in between contracts. I did a contract in Pensacola, and I was in between contracts while CMS had made the rules, and then headed to SCOTUS. And then while that was happening, I decided that I was going to apply for a position, a lucrative position, traveling with a home health agency across the country. I'm an American. I should be able to travel to any city, any state, anywhere, right? Can't do that. Can't work. We can't do any of it. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose. My husband and I sold our rental properties just so that we could, start traveling and not have to pay the higher taxes, and then lo and behold, it must have been God's will to be joining Brian. Thank God for him, and Mike Landis, just two truckers. But nobody, I'm just an individual RN. And I don't know what to do. When are they going to start listening to doctors? When is the doctors going to be brought into the conversation? When is Congress going to realize, hey, we don't have a medical background, and we don't want to listen to one fool doctor, when are you going to bring RNs and EMTs into the conversation? When is it? That's what I want to know.
Well, one of those, thank you for sharing your story. I know it's tough. One of those emails we were talking about earlier when you first walked in, I was talking about some of the work Mitch has done for the committee, the Republicans on the committee. But one of those emails talks about, it's an email between Collins and Fauci, where they talked about knocking them down. What did they say when they wanted to go after the Barrington Declaration? Take down. Yeah, wrestling term. I should remember that. Taking them down. So it was never mind that Dr. Bhattacharya is professor of medicine from Stanford. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. They were going to take him down because he disagreed with Fauci, Collins' government position. And that's a big problem. And now we're
I could have easily written, got a religious mandate. I pray to God every day. My dad raised me in church, Who are they to say, like this lady right here, university, you'll have to tell them your story, but trying to give you an application on whether or not you're Christian enough. Who gets to decide that, whether or not you're Christian enough? I mean, if I get up one day and I decide I'm praying to God.
Are you familiar enough with the religious tests that are being widespread use?
My buddy I got a buddy, I talked to him last night actually, he's a doctor, orthopedic surgeon, and he's nervous about, he's actually taken the vaccines, but they're requiring him to get the booster. He's like, he just doesn't want to do it. And he doesn't want to do the religious thing either. Because he's a Christian guy. He just does. He's like, I just don't think the science. That's his position.
But hundreds of companies are actually making people fill out forms to state what they believe their deeply held belief is, and asking them their medical histories, and then rejecting their religious exemptions based on some form of a quota.
Or rejecting them before
Sounds like
they're
a pretty
even
clear
given.
violation of the First Amendment.
It is clear, but this is widespread. It's happening all over the place. And this kind of stuff is happening at the same time as people are taking down doctors and attacking them on their licenses. They're taking dark money's taking down lawyers, attacking who are fighting for election integrity.
Go for their bar license.
Yeah, they're
I know.
we know people getting phone calls from
The cancel culture mob out there will come
Our
after
colleague
you.
Rachel would like to,
they're going after independent media.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Rachel.
Because I saw.
Yes,
it.
yes.
So I have actually two personal concerns of my own, and I have, if there's time, some concerns just from people that have given me their concerns and want me to stand for them here. So for every day last year, I had 3 jobs, and I worked almost every single day last year to save up money for paramedic school. I love riding the box. I love EMS. It is my passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun for me, and so I worked my butt off last year to save up money so that I could further my education. There's a need in this country for paramedics. We have a shortage of paramedics.
Sure, thank you.
And I found out in October 6th specifically, that the university or the school I was going to be going to paramedic school for, that they were not allowing religious exemptions because the clinical sites were denying them. So I kind of pushed a little further and kind of threw the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title IV, dealing with education out there in their email. And they're like, well, we can't deny you coming, but what's going to happen is these clinical sites, none of the clinical sites that we partner with will accept your religious exemption. So you will not be able to finish clinicals, therefore you will not be able to pass and get your paramedic license. And so essentially I would be throwing $10,000 down the drain, and all that time, effort, energy last year that I spent raising money so that I could go to paramedic school. And so I've talked to many lawyers about it, I've researched it, I've talked to a lot of legal advisors about it. There's this weird gray area where the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title IV, falls through the cracks with third-party clinical sites. For me specifically, it's within the genre of medicine, but it might even be within a genre of another field that I'm not familiar with. And even attorneys, they're like, we don't know what to do with this, because the schools are higher education, and based on how the Civil Rights Act of 1964 Title IV is written, it's no higher education, including high schools and any colleges and universities, can discriminate against somebody religiously. But the problem we present is these third-party clinical sites. These people aren't getting jobs at these sites, so they're not covered under Title VII, and they're not technically getting an education, even though they kind of are. And so what I would like to present is just maybe we need to make this law, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title IV, for educational purposes. We need to add some clarity. We need to add some verbiage. That is clarity that these sites where people have to go for furthering their education, partnering with a university, that they also have to accept these religious exemptions, and they can't fall through the cracks.
Good point.
So there's a second, go ahead.
We'll talk
Sorry,
about
we're running out of time.
Oh, we're running
We'll
out of
get,
time.
but that,
So,
that's a
but
great
can
point.
we get
we'll have
your
our
legislative
judiciary
cards
staff people.
so they can type that out in the
Yeah.
email and get that sent over, and hopefully we can work with your office to get that going.
Yeah.
From the People's Convoy, I just want to say thank you for
Thank
meeting
you all.
with us, and
Our
I want to formally invite you to come out to the Speedway and meet everybody, and get up on the. Our stage is a flatbed trailer from a truck.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
the
know
stump,
we'd
as they
like
say.
you to. We'd like you to come out and speak to them if you'll have us. You know, we'll gladly invite you down
thank you.
to speak to some folks.
God bless you all.
Congressman Jordan, let me end by saying something that's very important. One of my good friends, He's a very elite special forces operator for the United States military.
Yeah.
I can't say anymore, and he doesn't describe exactly what he does. But he flies very secret missions the other side of the world, very dark places. He wrote me yesterday to say, Paul, you know, I stood back from the vaccine as much as I could, but my commander, for a particular operation they're sending me on, demanded that I take the vaccine, and I did 3 weeks ago. And it's devastating. I had terrible chest pain, and I went to the emergency. I went to the VA also, and they are already diagnosing myocarditis, elevated enzymes, D-dimer test, which means he has these microthrombi clots. I've put him on to a specialist cardiologist, actually my friend who I work with, Dr. Peter McCullough, because this guy's in some trouble, and he's telling me, Paul, they want to deploy me, I can't move. They have spent tens of millions of dollars on me. That's what he told me, to train me because of who I am.
Oh, I know.
And I am now flat.
I know.
I have to tell you, the vaccines are ineffective and they're actually very dangerous. I'm speaking now as an academic scientist. I hope people understand this.
Not only that, they're also medical desegregation, medical discrimination, and absolute HIPAA violations. Yeah.
That's when we get a picture.